The Netherlands is hosting a conference between the International Criminal Court and EU Commission to discuss a joint strategy against alleged violations of humanitarian law and war crimes by Russian troops in Ukraine. Our correspondent Shona Murray is in The Hague. We can cross over to her now. Good to see you, Shona. President Zelenskyy has been speaking at that conference via video conference, and he said that the end result there should be comparable to the Nuremberg trial. Before we get to that stage, though, is there discussion too about prevention in the first place?
Well, I think, Helena, given the conversations you've just had there in relation to attacks on civilians, the death of over 20 civilians, including 3 children, 1 baby in a stroller, I think the conversation about prevention has been had and unfortunately lost. Because of what we've seen over the past few months in terms of the attacks by Russia on Ukraine. The Accountability Conference, therefore, today was about the international community, the International Criminal Court, the Ukrainians, the United Nations, coming together to ensure that there is, in the future, a level of justice against those who are perpetrating these crimes. So really it's about preserving evidence. It's about putting money and resources into ensuring that in the future there will be some sort of a war crimes tribunal. It's also about the international community, I suppose, in some ways, telling those involved, whether it's in the Kremlin, whether it's the generals of Vladimir Putin, whether it's the soldiers on the ground, that they will be eventually held to account. Although at this point, I think we can say, Helena, none of that is ringing through, given the type of atrocities we're witnessing day in, day out.
Well, Shona, how quickly could this tribunal get off the ground? Because we know other cases where you are there in The Hague, they have taken, an awfully long time to prosecute.
They do take a long time because obviously you're dealing with delicate matter of justice. You're also dealing with the worst type of crimes against humanity, things like genocide, aggression, rape as a use of a tool of war. So obviously, prosecutors need to be incredibly meticulous when you take somebody to court because you want to prosecute successfully and you want to win. On top of that, you have a situation where Ukraine is under a brutal war, so it's very difficult for people to get in to gather evidence. And then it's further complicated by the fact that Russia and Ukraine neither are actually under the jurisdiction technically or formally of the International Criminal Court, so it's very hard for the ICC to get involved straight away, although Ukraine says it will change that, it will join the Rome Statute. But we did hear from the prosecutors from Ukraine and the International Criminal Court saying that the law can't be a spectator here, that it needs to stand up and ensure that essential principles of humanity are deployed and that eventually that justice will be done. But you're right though, Helena, these things can take quite a long time.